Greetings and welcome to the latest episode of Decimal Point Analytics Unplugged podcast series. I am your host, Supriya Praveen, and today we are thrilled to have Prasad Nawathe join us. As Senior Vice President of Research and Data Operations at DPA, Prasad brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to our conversation. His expertise spans a diverse range of fields, including analytical skills, mutual fund analytics, automation, data analysis, and project scoping and deliveries. His unique perspective will undoubtedly shed light on the details of data driven decision making and the transformative power of technological innovation. Let's embark on this engaging conversation with Prasad. Welcome, Prasad. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Supriya. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here and talk about the ESG landscape.
Let's begin with understanding your role at Decimal Point Analytics.
Okay, so I started my journey with Decimal Point around 11 years ago, Supriya. So I started as a research analyst, but I was fortunate enough to work on many exciting projects and initiatives at DB. So right now I'm handling, so I'm co-leading the research and data side of the operations, as you mentioned. Plus, along with that, I'm working on the product development at ESG side. Okay. So furthermore, actually, I'm also working with our JV partner, Airavat Indices, as their lead of their index operations. So that's it about my role at DPA.
Wow, that's very interesting. Could you provide our listeners with a brief overview of ESG data and its significance in today's business landscape?
Sure. So ESG, as the name spells, it's an acronym of environmental, social, and governance factors. So these are the factors which we basically refer to or we look at or analyze from a business apart from the financial data points that we have. Okay. So environmental data points, to look at the company's environmental data points, you look at companies' emissions data, their water usage, their resource usage. If you want to look at the social side of the business, understand the social factors, you look at how the company is treating their employees, okay, the employee inclusivity, employee policies, data related to that. On governance side, you look at the independence of the board, like composition of various committees, and stuff like that. Okay. And in terms of significance, I think recently the significance has been increasing with, I would say, the increase in disclosure requirements globally. The world is looking at ESG factors now and a company's performance in terms of the ESG. Okay, so I think that is increasing its significance more. But apart from that, I think it's not just disclosures or mandatory requirements. ESG factors actually uncover a lot of risks in long term for a business, and they help you to mitigate it at the very early stage. So companies are now realizing it and working towards it. Apart from that, I think stakeholder engagement or stakeholder expectations is one thing where I would say from governments to the society. Okay, everyone now expects a business to perform well on all three fronts of ESG, and businesses now understanding that and trying to improve on their ESG performance as well. Okay, so that is also increasing the significance of ESG data or products as such. Apart from that, I think in general, in investment decision making, ESG has been there for around 20 years now. But recently, I think over last 4 years, you would see a lot of funds being poured into ESG. Okay, so for investment managers, it is now becoming extremely critical to focus on their ESG strategies and invest according to that, or like integrate ESG strategies into their investment decisions. I think I answered your question.
That's very informative, Prasad. Moving on to our next question, can you please explain some of the key issues or challenges faced by asset managers when it comes to ESG integration and reporting?
Yeah, sure. So I think asset managers, as I said, funds are getting a lot of money, especially to invest into ESG strategies. Okay, but the problem is with the data or data quality, okay, availability of data in general. So getting ESG data is not as straightforward today as it is to get financial data. Okay, because globally the disclosure requirements vary. Okay, so company in India would maybe declare something voluntarily. Now with the recent BRSR requirements, I think India's disclosure requirements are much better than rest of the world. But Europe is very stringent, and then you go to US, it is not that stringent. Then there is voluntary data that is available. So when an investment manager looks at this diverse like availability of data, somewhere whenever even we are trying to collect data for our products, sometimes what happens is the quality of data is simply not there, or the data is missing or not available. A lot of estimations are required. So data quality for an asset manager is, I think, the primary concern that they would face. Then, in terms of ESG strategies or ESG frameworks, there is a lot of divergence or non-clarity. Okay, globally, and regulators as well are coming up with different regulations that is causing a lot of confusion. So I think that is also there. I think very what you can say realistic challenge also is there with the cost of ESG data and like constraint on cost as well as resources that you have. Okay, so that also limits the ability of a asset manager. Apart from that, in general, because this field is still like growing up, lack of expertise on ESG side is also a constraint. And I think if an asset manager needs to overcome these challenges, they need to collaborate, work with regulators, governments on the framework side, regulation side, disclosure side. And also internally, they need to work with data providers.
That's a compelling perspective on the evolving role of ESG. What advice would you give to organizations looking to start or improve their ESG reporting and data management practices?
A great question, Supriya. I believe any company that is looking to basically start integrating or improving their ESG framework should start with establishing a formal ESG policy. Okay, so you look at all your objectives, goals at organization level and align them with your ESG policy. I think that should be the first step that each company should start with. Okay, so ESG is not just your investment decisions. It is for your company's culture. I think that should be the goal. Okay. Then the second thing is because as I said, data is one of the biggest challenge that anyone would face with ESG. So in that case, there should be a robust, sorry. In that case, investing in robust data management and data collection processes is a key thing. You need to either get the quality data or subscribe to quality data, or look at collaborating with such data providers or product providers, solutions provider that could solve your or support your business case. Okay, then I think use of technology is critical. Um, and that has been our experience at DPA as well. You should use the technology not only in terms of like on your data side, but also on your reporting side. It improves a lot. It adds a lot of efficiencies and improves your accuracy as well. One thing that we have done well at DPA is we regularly monitor all the regulatory and all the initiatives, stewardship initiatives globally. So if there are any updates to the frameworks, any new guidances, you should be aware about it. I think that is one of the key things as well, and that one should set up processes towards this. And then I think the finally key thing is transparency and communication. I think that should be there. Um, all your data points need to be reported in a transparent manner, and internally as well, the communication should be very clear. So I think that's it on this.
Excellent advice, Prasad. Let's talk about the role of technology and data analytics. How do they play a role in enhancing the effectiveness of ESG data and product offerings?
Okay. So, collecting ESG data, as I said, is not as simple as collecting the financial data. You need to look at a lot of documents, and none of them you can look at in a standalone manner. Need to look at everything, the company's websites, all the filings, the policy documents, okay, while you're collecting the ESG data. So this is a lot of work for a single company, I would say. And if you're a company like Decimal Points, which tracks a lot of geographies around the globe, you need technology. Okay, so technology helps you to improve your coverage, improve efficiency, as I said, and at the same time, we are confident about accuracy of data. Okay, so if I can share, I think at DPA we're working with AI even on data collection side. Okay, which is improving our efficiency. Okay, and accuracy. So that is one thing, the first thing. Second thing is technology helps you to look at non-traditional data points. Okay, so traditionally you look at all these numbers that have been put out or reported by companies. Okay, but there is data that is outside of this particular documentation, and that is available on internet in many cases or other places. So you have web watchers which continuously monitor and look at this alternative data, grab it, transform it, and extract the meaningful sentiments out of this. So we are also utilizing this kind of data and creating our products. I think that is very helpful. And machine learning and AI. I think I mentioned we are looking at AI for our data collection as well, but AI also helps you to identify trends and patterns. Okay, it helps you classify the data. It helps you identify the sentiments. Okay, so it does a lot of work that a person would need a lot of time to do. Okay, so I think technology adds efficiency to the process. So I think it is very critical.
That's a great look at the role of technology in ESG. Moving forward, can you discuss any emerging innovations or best practices that Decimal Point Analytics has achieved in ESG product development?
Sure, Supriya. So I think I referred to it in the previous answer as well, but I think if I look back 5 years, we had actually worked with a well-known German manufacturer, and helped the company to track the ESG data of its suppliers globally. Now it was a huge company; it had thousands of suppliers. Okay, so we had to use textual data. Okay, we were looking at data in thousands of languages, converting it to English, analyzing it, and providing the data to the supplier. I think that is that would be one of the most challenging AI related uh, tasks or projects Decimal Point has done in ESG field. Okay, right now as well, I would say ESG News Pulse, that is one of our products, which looks at again similar kind of data globally again in different languages. Okay, we use textual analysis as well as ML model to firstly identify if the article is relevant. Okay, if it we then classify it into ESG pillars, E, S, or G. Okay, further we classify it into 11 different key issues. okay, and identify an impact score, and finally provide a very detailed analysis at a real time to the client. Okay, so that is one thing. Then controversy framework is another thing, where globally companies look at negative side of controversy. We are actually working at a sentiment analysis which starts from positive to negative scale. I think that is another good thing that I think I can highlight. Then AI for data capture is very exciting.
That's impressive, Prasad. Looking ahead, what is the future direction of Decimal Point Analytics research and development efforts in the ESG space?
Okay, so to look at near term, I think we are right now focused on creating like platform-based solutions for investment managers in public and private securities. We are covering public securities very well. We are now working on private securities. We already have solutions, but we are making them more robust. Okay, I think that is in near term our target or goal in future. And in long term, we will continue to leverage our AI and ML capabilities to actually uncover value from alternative data sources or untraditional, non-traditional data sources. I think that to sum up, I think that should be the roadmap that we are looking at.
That sounds like an exciting future ahead for Decimal Point Analytics in the ESG space. Prasad, thank you very much for sharing your insights and expertise with us today. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Pleasure was mine, Supriya. I think thank you for having me. It was very exciting to discuss the ESG landscape and our approach with you.
We appreciate your presence today, Prasad, and are grateful for your invaluable insights. To our audience, please stay connected for upcoming episodes of Decimal Point Analytics Unplugged, where we discuss everything of the financial realm.